Welcome back to Phenom Industry Week 2024. I'm Bill Ventiker, and I'm your host for this exciting week-long series dedicated to industries across retail, hospitality, healthcare, manufacturing and transportation, and financial services. Today, we're focusing on the vibrant and challenging world of restaurants and hotels. The hospitality industry employs over 15 million people in the U.S. and faces significant HR challenges, including high employee turnover, the need for skilled labor with the right soft skills, and managing seasonal hiring demands. Effective HR practices in this sector are crucial for ensuring consistent service quality, enhancing employee satisfaction, and maintaining operational efficiency. We have an exciting lineup of industry experts who will discuss innovative strategies to attract, hire, and retain top talent in hospitality. Don't forget, you can catch up on any sessions you miss and share them with your colleagues on demand. They'll be available about an hour after we wrap up today. Ask questions in the chat and register for our other great sessions this week. Let's dive in. Our first speaker today is Debbie Whelan, the Education Outreach and Foundation Director at the Texas Hotel and Lodging Association. The Texas Hotel and Lodging Association represents the interests of the hotel and lodging industry across Texas, advocating for policies that promote tourism and hospitality growth. They provide valuable resources, education, and training to help their members excel in this competitive market. Let's welcome Debbie as she talks about hiring trends and early talent access in the hospitality industry. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's session on day 2 of Phenom Industry Week. I'm delighted to have you join us as we dive into the unique challenges and opportunities within your sector, the hospitality sector. We know that in this industry, all of you are facing not only the everyday hurdles of attracting and retaining talented staff, but you also have the added complexity of seasonal hiring fluctuations and the need to be proactive and plan for the future. And we know that with the intense competition for qualified candidates, especially amongst recent graduates and the next generation of workers, that creating a compelling career path is more crucial than ever. Today, we have the privilege of talking with Debbie Whelan, the Education Outreach and Foundation Director of the Texas Hotel and Lodging Association. Debbie, thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure to be here.
We're so excited to hear your insights and guidance on how the right partnerships can help create that well-informed early talent pool that's excited about the hotel and lodging business and ultimately finding ways to fill those open positions faster, but also more effectively with people who really see this industry as a future career path. So let's dive right in.
Sounds great.
All right. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself and your role and that amazing mission as the Education Outreach and Foundation Director with the Texas Hotel and Lodging Association.
Great. I'm happy to share my background with you. I began my professional career in the grocery retail business, which is a little bit similar in that there's a big focus on customer service in that industry, just like there is in the hospitality industry. At some point in that career, I transitioned from store operations into human resources. And at one point, I was the manager of career development. So I was working with sourcing future leaders in that industry. Eventually, I decided I wanted to enter the education field. And so I became a teacher. I was actually hired to teach culinary arts, but made a quick switch there on the school district that hired me and became the facilitator of a hospitality program. I had a really great program. My students were interning at a local resort and spa and really gaining lots of hands-on experience about the industry. And I kind of fell in love with the hospitality industry at that point. I left the classroom and went to work for the state education agency here in Texas. And while I was there, one of my responsibilities was supporting the career and technical education department and specifically supporting hospitality and tourism. So I really had the opportunity to interact with industry much more than I had maybe in the classroom. And that kind of led to the role that I'm in right now. I was serving on the education committee for the Texas Hotel and Lodging Association, and they created a position for education outreach. And after a little bit of conversation, we decided that that was a role I was going to take on. And it's just been a wonderful role. My main responsibility is to increase awareness of the occupations and career paths that exist in the hospitality industry among young people. And when I say young people, I'm talking about college students, high school students, and middle school students, and maybe even elementary school students. So, just really increasing that awareness of the career pathways those students can follow.
I love to hear that. And I think a lot of our attendees would agree that getting that hands on experience as a young person, it can be so powerful when they're just trying to decide what they're going to do with their lives. I know that my kids, uh, I hope, will get involved in as much of that kind of hands on experience as possible. So it sounds like you have some great interactions, not only with young people, but with lots of different companies that are trying to solve these challenges. So maybe tell our audience a little bit about, from your perspective and from your conversations with all of them, what are the biggest challenges in frontline and hourly hiring within this industry? And how do you think those partnerships with educational institutions help fix those problems?
Well, I think there are a number of challenges, but the one that I address most often is that lack of awareness of the occupations that exist in the industry. When I interact with young people, I typically ask them, "What jobs do you think exist in the industry?" And I almost always get the same two answers, front desk and housekeeping. And there's so many more exciting opportunities within the industry, things like accounting and marketing, human resources, sales, engineering, even catering and event planning, all of those opportunities that the students don't even think about. In fact, when I mention sales, I often say, "What do you think the hotel is selling?" And they have no concept of the effort that goes into selling rooms and the effort that goes into marketing a property. And what's really interesting for me is that I hear these students, college and high school students, saying, "Oh, I'm gonna have a career in accounting or a career in marketing," and they don't always think about the hospitality industry having those opportunities available for them. So there are lots of other challenges, but the one that I'm addressing most often is that lack of awareness of the opportunities that exist in the industry. I think I got both parts of your question there.
No, that was a great answer. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think it's so powerful to be thinking proactively about the future and building those relationships as early as possible, because the HR experts in this field are facing enough challenges on a day-to-day basis. Anything they can do to build up the amount of people that are coming to them when a position is open just benefits the entire industry. So one of those challenges that we talked about when we first met each other was the ebbs and flows of the seasonal hiring demands for the hospitality industry, and how you can create those experiences and drive engagement with your customers if you don't have the right people in your organization and staffed up and ready to go. So how does your organization help hotels prepare for and kind of manage that seasonal workforce? And what do you see going on across the industry on that topic?
I think the impact that I have on that seasonality that occurs really comes with my constant urging of young people to experiment by having part time opportunities. Those young people, I encourage them to work part time in hotels, whether it's 3 weeks in the summer, 2 weeks at Christmas break, during the week of Thanksgiving when they're out of school. And as you know, the best time of our lives was probably when we were in college and had all those huge breaks. Those are great times for students to get into the workforce and really experience the environment. Lots of research shows that when students get to experience the environment, they're more likely to persist in their studies in that environment or persist in their career in that environment. So it's always a great idea to get them in, even if it's part time, even if it's a few hours a week. And then you utilize those students, those individuals that are learning about the industry when you have those peaks in business. So during that time when they're not at school, I encourage our hoteliers to think about maybe during the school year they only work 5 hours a week, but when you're super busy during that summertime when people are vacationing, then utilize these students as much as you can and give them opportunities to experience lots of different departments. I think as an industry, the hospitality industry does a lot of cross training to help mitigate those times when it's super busy and the times when you don't need so many staff members. If you have those that are cross trained, they can help you out in various departments. So it's kind of a combination of bringing in those young people at a part-time basis, but then really utilizing them when you're going through your busiest seasons.
Well, that's definitely building that community, right? And then being able to reach out to them and invite them to come and work for you when it's best for them while they're still students. And then also encouraging them to grow into a future careers is really powerful. That's great advice. So, one of the other things that we wanted to touch on today was you touched a little bit on just the awareness issue with students both at the high school and earlier and college level about all the amazing jobs and careers there are in the hotel and lodging industry. So, do you have some hints and tips on how companies can really increase that awareness with early talent groups on those roles that are not just the traditional roles like chefs and housekeeping and front desk staff? What are some ways that they can promote that and that you see really working from your interactions with members of the association?
Well, I think probably the biggest way I think they can increase that awareness is by having partnerships with education, whether it's the local university or maybe it's not even a local university, it's a state university that has a really robust hospitality program, making sure that we have hoteliers speaking and presenting to the students in those programs is really important. Really looking at your local community and partnering with the high schools that are in your community. I just read some data from the US Census Bureau that said most 27-year-olds will live within 10 or 15 miles of where they went to high school at the time they turned 27. So, really important to build those relationships with those high school students because at some point they're probably going to be back in that
Sure.
community and it's going to be a great opportunity for them to revisit some of the experiences they've had. And many hoteliers say, "Well, how can I partner? What is a partnership?" So there's lots of ways to partner with schools, whether it's being a classroom presenter or hosting a group of students on a hotel property tour, bringing them through the front of the house and the back of the house, letting them hear from individuals about their career progression and how they got to the roles that they're in. Those are all really great ways to partner. And aside from the cost of the time that's invested, there's really no other financial investment in partnering with schools and having those kinds of experiences for students.
I love that. My elementary age kids, you think about the field trips that they go on every single year. Most of the time, it's based on history or science or something like that. It would be amazing to see local businesses and statewide or national organizations partner with school districts to have a field trip to a convention center or a hotel. That would be really, really cool to see. And I think the kids would get really excited. Thanks for sharing that.
You're welcome.
So I think in this sense of being proactive, I would love to hear what your thoughts are about the next things that hoteliers need to be thinking about when they're talking about where the hospitality industry is going. What kind of thoughts do you have about the future challenges that the industry is going to be facing?
Well, we do have some future challenges in the industry, and I think technology is going to make a big impact and a lot of changes in our industry. And those are maybe more challenging for our existing staff members because our young people are cutting edge. They are learning about technology and know things that perhaps some of our current staff members, even our leadership staff members, don't know. And I think it's fabulous to bring those young people in and learn from them about the technology that's possible in the industry to improve productivity, improve our business, and even to help us with cost control in our industry. I would say that our young people are learning a lot about sustainability and eco-friendly practices, and so I think bringing them in, giving them opportunities to share their ideas about what we can do in our industry is really important. And right now, when I think about social media marketing, I think it's just an afterthought in many parts of our industry. And I love when I go and visit a hotel property and hear about an individual who has the sole responsibility of marketing on social media because our students know how to do that. Our young people are such experts in that area, and they can really help us grow our businesses by utilizing the tools that they are just so comfortable with.
I love that. And I agree. Like soft skills and creating experiences and finding people that are focused on, customer service is so important. But that is where finding people that are technology natives that are going to change the industry and be able to understand that technology and find new ways to apply it is super, super important. I love that. Well, you have some amazing resources available from your association, and I absolutely hope that our attendees will find ways to connect with you after this. I think that there's a lot of listeners out there who are interested in partnering with educational institutions and improving their hiring and retention efforts through this kind of an activity. What are the final thoughts or takeaways that you could leave with the audience and tell them where they can go to get more information?
I will share with you one of the initiatives that I think has really been successful for Texas. Our association hosts 3 hotel summer camps every summer in the month of June. During those hotel summer camps, the students get an opportunity to get into a hotel environment. They spend 3 days and 2 nights in the hotel. They have all of their instructional sessions in a meeting room, just like an executive would. They have their dinner served to them, banquet style, just like you would if you were at a business meeting. They get the opportunity to go on a tour of the front and the back of the house of this full service property. They get an opportunity to visit a post secondary institution and learn about the hospitality offerings at the college level. They get a customer service certification while they're at camp. Just really immerse themselves into what the environment is like and what the occupations are. They learn about what each person that they're interacting with does on a daily basis. So just so valuable for the students if they don't have the knowledge of what's going on in the environment. They can't choose that industry as a potential career choice. And so we have been hosting these camps for 3 years. They've been fabulous. I've seen kids come in and their whole career path plan changes based on what they learn in these summer camps. So I'm happy to share all of the planning that we do. I'm happy to share the budgets that we have, any support I can provide to any hoteliers that are interested in maybe implementing something like this in their state. We do have other initiatives in place, and individuals can find all of that information on our website, which is texaslodging.com. My contact information is on that website. I'm happy to share resources, thoughts, and maybe even collaborate with individuals who are looking for ways to really highlight the hotel industry in their state.
Well, that's outstanding. I think it takes a village and it takes collaboration across all the different members that are trying to solve these same challenges, working together to solve these challenges and prepare for the future. So I love that you've offered that. I think we're out of time. This has been a fascinating conversation. I would love to welcome you back and talk to our audience some more in the future. Um, we have lots more exciting content coming on our day 2 of Phenom Industry Week. But I cannot thank you enough for participating today and for all the knowledge that you've shared.
Oh, it was my pleasure. I always say to the students, hotels are a great place to stay for work and for play.
That's great. Thanks again.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Debbie, for those valuable trends and insights. Coming up, we'll hear from Mandy Wagner from Lifetime, who will reveal how the Healthy Way of Life company revolutionized their talent acquisition process in the competitive hospitality market. Mandy is the Vice President of HR Operations at Lifetime, which operates more than 165 athletic country club destinations in the United States and Canada, focusing on providing healthy living, healthy aging, and healthy entertainment experiences. They are known for their innovative approach to recruitment and employer retention, which has helped them maintain high standards of service and customer satisfaction. Let's hear from Mandy about their journey in navigating recruitment hurdles in the hospitality industry.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Hospitality Day of Industry Week. Phenom is hosting Industry Week with different industries all week, where we will have some keynote speakers and some customer speakers. And today we are lucky enough to have with us Mandy Wagner from Lifetime. Mandy, welcome to Hospitality Day.
Thank you. It's so great to be here with you all.
So tell me a little bit about you and about your work at Lifetime.
Yeah, so I have been in the talent acquisition industry for over 20 years. I got my start on the agency side of business in light industrial and technical and manufacturing recruiting. And 13 years ago, had the opportunity to join Lifetime in an individual contributor role. I led their recruitment process here for our general manager recruiting and moved into new club opening recruiting and leading the strategy as we continue to grow it as an organization. Over time, I've had the pleasure of being able to develop others on the team here to grow our talent acquisition strategy at Lifetime, supporting about 28,000 hires across our organization annually. And today, I lead our HR operations division, which includes recruitment marketing, people analytics, and HR technology.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for the background. And as I said, I'm excited to have you here to kind of talk to us a little bit about the hospitality industry and kind of what Lifetime has been doing over the last few years and what the future is going to look like. Very interesting business that you have, because you have a lot of different areas of hospitality that you actually touch on, between the personal fitness and like the shared workspace and the rental properties. And also, I think I was looking at some properties in Coral Gables on your site that look pretty interesting. So you touch a lot of different areas of the hospitality industry, and you know, the hospitality industry is interesting because there are unique challenges because of the distributed nature of your business, having a lot of locations in a lot of different places. You deal with things like high turnover, you deal with things like job satisfaction, and then, of course, there's seasonality, which is more complicated, I think, for Lifetime because you have different seasonality for different parts of your business. So, but I don't want to steal your thunder. I'd like to hear right from you. What are kind of the challenges that you deal with on a day to day, month to month, year to year basis?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail kind of on the head with the biggest challenge I would say here at Lifetime, which is just the wide variety of positions that we hire for and the offerings that we have. I mean, Lifetime, I would say, really has a incomparable, innovative ecosystem of offerings. You hit on a few of them, but we're most known for that athletic country club destination across 175 plus locations. But our offerings do span beyond that. Residential living, as you mentioned, Lifetime Living, co-working spaces with Lifetime Work. We have an award winning whole health, life, and wellness magazine. Experience Life is what it's called, and the foundation. And then our latest offering, which is in Miura, which is our performance and longevity space. So, with this large ecosystem of offerings, we have hundreds of different positions that we will need to hire for. And so, some of those positions do overlap with the skills and talents we're looking for, but some of them have very diverse and unique skills, qualifications, and even certification requirements to be successful in their roles. So I'd say one of the biggest challenges Lifetime has is attracting across a very wide spectrum of different job profiles. In addition to that, you mentioned it, right? In hospitality, high volume hiring, certainly a challenge. As I mentioned, we cast for approximately 28,000 team members annually and we have a 49% turnover rate. So again, it's hard to kind of categorize us specifically into one industry. Hospitality fits really well. But within that, we experience some of those similar challenges around that high volume hiring. Each athletic country club destination has about 10 to 12 different departments with various positions and requirements. And in order to perform successfully, we have to be able to cast for a high volume, different times of the year, but also specialize in specific skills and talents. Two areas specifically would be our seasonal casting or hiring. I'll say casting a lot. That's what we refer to as our hiring process. But Lifetime brings on about 7 to 8,000 team members during our seasonal time period, which supports peak business in outdoor pool season, our bistros, cafe areas, and our summer camps for our junior members. And then another area of high volume for us is new club openings. And that can depend on the location and the area that we're opening that specific location, but that can ramp 100 to up to 400 new team members. With both of those high volume strategies, in addition to that, some of the challenges is the speed to which we need to hire those individuals. For seasonal specifically, we ramp those 8,000 team members up within a period of about mid-March to May. And for new club openings, it's usually between a 10 to 13 week period of time. So, the speed of hiring is certainly a challenge as well to make sure we're hitting some of those deadlines and being able to serve those members from both, those summer peak seasons, as well as with our new club opening process. And then finally, I would just say the talent pool itself can be a challenge. Brand perception within the hospitality industry. You mentioned career, can have some challenges that come along with it. High turnover, job stability, career progression are some of the things that we are challenged with. And so it can be hard to attract candidates in that space, not to mention the 40% of workers we lost in that industry during the pandemic. So where to find talent is also one of the challenges we face within this high volume hiring and wide variety of positions that we hire for.
Yeah. So yeah, ramping up and down and also specific skills for specific positions. It can certainly be complicated. And I know as a result, you've kind of had to take a different approach to your recruitment strategies. So can you talk to us a little bit about, what that journey looked like and what are some of the goals that you have for kind of making some of the changes that you're making?
Yeah, we have creative resilience here at Lifetime. When prioritizing, some of these goals and strategies to overcome these recruiting challenges, first we need to consider this decentralized recruiting model that we have instituted here. We have approximately 1,500 hiring managers across our athletic country clubs who are responsible for the recruiting, the interviewing, the hiring process. However, that's not their primary responsibility. Serving our member is where their focus is. So, our top priority in that strategy is really implementing innovative solutions and streamlining that process to increase the efficiency and effectiveness in that recruitment process. So, with that in mind, I think some of the top goals that have really help us overcome some of these recruiting challenges are, first and foremost, putting our brand awareness and our employment brand at the forefront of what we're doing. Specifically, again, that challenge around hospitality brand perception. We've really focused on enhancing the way we bring that awareness to our job seekers, our talent pools, the candidates that we are attracting to Lifetime. And the focus has really been around sharing an authentic representation of what it is to be a team member at Lifetime, what that culture is that helps us attract that talent for, again, a variety of those positions across the industries, and really differentiate the brand that we have through a storytelling process too. With the challenge of high volume hiring and the speed to hire, really finding ways to hire quickly without impacting our candidate experience is a top goal of ours. Utilizing, customization of different processes, leveraging automation, really applying, different innovative solutions across our candidate journey are top in mind for us. And then I would say in regards to the challenge of just that wide spectrum of skills and talents that we're looking for, diversifying our recruitment channel strategy where we can meet our candidates where they're at and really expand that outreach through various channels. So I'd say those are, some of the things that we've really, based on those challenges, had to focus our goals on the past year.
Yeah, it's especially complicated, as you kind of said, because your brand represents so many different activities, different types of business, right? Like it's complicated enough for hotels to compete with other hotels. It's complicated enough for restaurants to compete with other restaurants. But now you're competing with fitness centers and living and this and that and that. So so that employer brand, like, yeah, really, I can understand why that's a focus. And really at Lifetime, it's creative resilience is certainly a great thing, but also you guys, I would say, you kind of have this continuous improvement mindset where you're never kind of sitting still. So, like one of the things that you did recently was you analyzed your application process on your career site, right? And I think you're kind of always kind of have those feelers out for different technologies that you could bring to bear to help improve the recruiting, the candidate experience, things like that. So, like one example would be a chatbot, right? Where based off the different roles, as you kind of said, people can have different experiences based off of what is what's comfortable for them. So so you recently did launch a chatbot, which drove up applications 12% a month, which is awesome. So, what are some of the things that you've kind of implemented recently? What are some of the things that you found like really beneficial, especially given that your quote unquote recruiters at the distributed level are doing that as a secondary job.
Yeah. Well, technology and recruitment industry is evolving so quickly. And now with these advancements in, AI and automations, I'm excited about the potential for that technology to help us address these challenges that we've experienced. Specifically some of the most beneficial forms of technology we're using today to address, again, these challenges. I'll probably focus more specifically around that high volume attraction and being able to diversify kind of where we're looking for those is that personalization and automation journey. So starting with personalization, our careers website has been a great tool for us that delivers really relevant content to our candidates based on their interests. That brand audit, I will say that we, had the opportunity to do. We take a look at, how do we bring more relevant content and personalized journeys to our candidates as they're on our career website. through, personalized job description pages, new content pages, just really enhancing that user experience on the site itself. Again, our philosophy has moved toward more of a video first approach with those job seekers as well. So we're using complementary tools that also help us be able to authentically story tell that culture. We get a lot of questions about, what's a day in the life like of, a lifeguard or a personal training position. And so really being able to bring that authentic story to life through personalization on the career website has been a big focus for us, and some of the areas that are really working well. I would say another very successful technology partnership, as I mentioned, to diversify our strategies around programmatic job advertising. So this tool helps complement our overall strategy to expand brand awareness and drive high volume of job seekers and our completed applies. So customizing that approach, we get to pull different levers at different times throughout the year. For example, a personal training division might need to ramp up trainers in a certain location at a specific time of year. And we're able to use this technology to shift those job advertisements and targeting specific talent pools that help us increase application pipelines there. And then finally, I would say, the automated email campaigns, that automation technology approach has been able to help us support these challenges as well. We get about 10.5 million views on our career site annually. And so from there, we're able to really personalize that journey for those job seekers based on the behavior, that they're taking actions on that career website. Spa, for instance, salon and spa is not, you think of Lifetime, it might not be the industry that you think about coming to Lifetime for, but we have salon and spas in our athletic destinations. And if you're a job seeker on our career site and you land on that page, you're now going to see automated drip campaigns that lead you through this journey of really telling you what it's like to be a stylist, a nail technician, or, an esthetician in that space, giving those job seekers a little bit more confidence in being able to apply for a position where maybe they were not really sure about what kind of that offering would look like within a hospitality industry type of environment there. So, and these solutions, I would say, that we're leveraging are resulting in some phenomenal career site performance analytics for us as well.
I have the numbers right here. It certainly seems to be paying off in spades for sure. The personalization has driven a 31% increase in career site visits and a 39% increase in unique lead capture, which is huge because as the stat of doom is that like 96% of people don't apply on your website, right? So if you're not capturing that information somewhere else, either through a talent community or through job alerts or through the chatbot, right? Then you're losing a ton of a volume of candidates and potential leads. So speaking of volume, and we've talked about high volume a lot during this, and so the future for Lifetime and Phenom is that you are going to start using our high volume hiring solution, which is exciting for me, hopefully exciting for you as well. And we kind of touched a little bit on some of the automation aspects, and of course there's AI across the entire tech stack, right? Not just in the Phenom platform. So as you look towards the future, towards the high volume hiring solution, towards more automation and hopefully leveraging more AI to help you guys scale, what do you see as the right role for the AI and for the automation versus where the human should kind of still be involved? Does it vary by job type? What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, at Lifetime, and what we do here, the human interaction, I think will always be critical. We're in the service industry, and human interaction serving our members is going to be a constant. That's not going to go away. Although I will say with more advancements in even digital technology, like our Lifetime app, anyone can really access health and wellness offerings with Lifetime that we provide. So you don't have to be, in close proximity to one of our locations. So the impact is greater as we expand this use of technology to impact more lives across the country. Similar to that, I would say I believe that human interaction within the recruiting process will continue to be critical for us. Building those relationships with candidates and understanding their motivation and assessing culture fit are important parts of our recruiting process. However, again, with this decentralized approach, this is an exciting opportunity for us to use tools and technology to really help execute on the high volume strategy and remove some of those administrative tasks that can take a lot of time and are at the front end of the process that our hiring managers don't necessarily need to have the time to do that. As an example of this, through some of our diverse recruitment marketing channels and the approach there, we're fortunate. We've expanded our application completion volume 31% year over year. We get hundreds of thousands of applications, which is great. But it leaves us with a large opportunity where we have to overcome is that balance of timely communication to those candidates and really screening for qualifications so that our hiring managers have the confidence in that talent pipeline to be able to make those hiring decisions really quickly. And so as a result of that, our strategies with this have focused on, again, building that employment brand, but it's consistent communication through automation. Candidates receive branded communications through the steps of the process, again, enhancing that experience and saving time through that automation. Again, with high volume hiring, one of the things we're really excited about is, again, getting the candidate through that process as quickly as possible and saving time that can be used to really engage more deeply with our candidates and align them to that motivational fit for the position that they're applying for. High volume hiring, we're also looking at the automated scheduling component to that as well. So again, keeping timely communication top of mind for our candidates, saving time for our hiring managers, and keeping that improved candidate experience. So overall, I think, again, going back to the question of just human interactions, I think they remain crucial to the process, but this use of AI and automation allows our hiring managers to focus more on strategic, relational, very value-added activities that enhances both the efficiency and the quality of our recruiting process.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you very much for all of your answers. Before we wrap up, I do have one last question, some parting advice, any wise words that you might have for folks that are really trying to hire in volume for areas where you still need kind of those soft skills, right? That as you kind of said, human interaction is still important on the recruiting side. It's especially important at the club and face-to-face level. So any parting words for folks kind of looking to make sure that those skills are part of the recruitment process?
Yeah, I think going back to having, again, that creativity in your process and really utilizing the creative thinking and problem solving to innovate on your approach to evolve recruiting strategy. What's worked for us when delivering phenomenal experiences is not treating our candidates any different than we would treat our members in our clubs. So gather feedback. I think, listening to your candidate experience and identifying opportunities in your recruiting process, and then using that information to help influence your strategy of how you deliver on that authentic storytelling to enhance your employer brand. Again, this has allowed us to really evaluate how our candidates align to our company culture and values, and they're more likely to possess those soft skills that we're looking for when they get those questions answered ahead of time to be able to feel the ability to see themselves in those positions. And then, I think it's really important us as, recruitment professionals to keep streamlining that process, looking at the application process specifically, leveraging automation where we can to really streamline steps and focusing that time on relationship building with our candidates. We know from our data that 26% of our applications are members within our club already. And so we really want to take care of them in that experience, whether they become a team member or not, because in the end, they're touching our brand at some point, and we want them to, really feel that across the processes that we have. So I would just say that the candidate experience and streamlining that process is my advice for other business to make sure that they're focused on and look at it constantly and make those evolutions in their processes.
Yeah, Lifetime is all about healthy and happy lives. And it's great to hear that it starts, with finding the right team members and treating them in that hiring process, just like you would any client. So the experience is huge and continues to be huge. So I think it's very compelling that the things that you guys are doing and the improvements that you guys are making to your process. So I'm excited for seeing what the future brings for you. I'm very thankful that you were able to join us today and talk about some of the challenges you have, in your very interesting and complicated business. Thank you so much, and thank you everybody who was listening to this session. Enjoy the rest of the day. You'll be able to see some of the Phenom products in action following this session. So stay tuned and take care.
Thank you, Mandy, for sharing your success story. Now, we'll hear from our Phenom experts, who will discuss high-volume hiring and hiring manager strategies, sourcing candidates with the right soft skills for hospitality, and talent management through career pathing and alumni groups. Let's begin.
Hi, everyone. I'm Cassie Dunn. I lead high volume hiring and assessments product here at Phenom. I'm really excited to come today and to show you just some ideas for high volume hiring, where it could be impactful, and what it may look like for you all in the restaurant and hotel industries. So we'll jump right in and want to get started. So we're starting with my favorite hotel chain, which is Phenom Hotels. I hope you all have stayed there and are our guests often. But here we start with the chatbot experience. The first thing to call out is that this is a branded experience that is in your voice as a customer. It has your branded imagery, it has your branded colors, it has your tone. We are able to update that and customize that for each of you. And as you go in, we start with the job search and we go into find a job. And we launch right off to say, let's find the right role for you. But let's start by getting to know Phenom Hotels and what that looks like. So here you could have just a hype video, something short to talk through what it means to work at Phenom Hotels, what just benefits or culture, anything that is relevant to you that you feel like is your selling point. You could come out of the gate with just a very short video, or even just imagery at this point to really focus on what is right for your customers. Then we go into guided job search. So what type of job are we looking for? What is the guest services, front office, at the hotel, what type of role are you looking for? Are you looking for full-time, part-time? We say we're looking for full-time. And then we go into location-based matching. Here we're asking you to provide your address. Another way to ask this would be, what is your preferred location? That makes it a little bit more open, but it's really up to you and what works for your brand. So now it has matched me to jobs. So it said, check out some jobs that match your criteria. Again, we have the ability to sort those questions based upon your needs, what's right for you all, and how you need to sort your candidates. So here we can see there's a front desk agent and an assistant front office manager position. This one is 2.4 miles from me. This one is 8.6 miles away based upon the address or the city state that I provided. This one was posted 3 days ago. This one's been up for 9 days. So there may already be sufficient candidate pool on the other. So I'm going to say I'm interested in the front desk agent. And so great, let's get started right away. So this is where we go into lead capture. So we're getting first name, last name, email address. We are getting your phone number. And you can see here it is validating that format to make sure that it flows nicely over to your ATS. You can come in, you can do privacy notice, have it as a pop-up, or you could just link out to your privacy policy. But you're capturing the lead and getting them into your CRM so that you can campaign to them. If they drop out at this point, you could have a drip campaign that runs, getting them re-engaged in the process, etc. Then we go into gathering some more information on profile. So you've got your title, company, location, the dates that you were employed. I currently work here. Again, building that candidate profile. Are you a previous Phenom Hotels team member? So you can get just prior employment history. Then you start through your screening questions. Are you able to operate office machines, including a computer, Microsoft Office? Are you able to work a full shift, 8 hours, walking, standing, with or without reasonable accommodation? Are you willing to work different shifts? So these are the questions that we design to help you get to a qualified, not just a qualified lead, but to a highly qualified lead. Again, the purpose of the workflow hiring automation is to prioritize the best fit candidates and to get them in front of your managers more quickly. It is not to knock out more candidates in the process. The candidates who meet your minimum qualifications are still in the process. They are still qualified. They are still part of the hiring process. They just are not fast-tracked to be in front of your manager. You can still review their resume, pick them up, schedule an interview, all still possible. But we are, again, cultivating those highly qualified leads and fast-tracking them because we want them, one, to have a good experience. Two, we want them to keep coming back as guests and customers. And three, we want to maximize your team's time by prioritizing the best fit candidates. Here we have just our EEOC statement. Then we get into our gender diversity statements, and then all of our EEO data. And then you can see here, Sandy has qualified as a highly qualified lead. And so we want to prioritize and we want to schedule a call with her, or this could be schedule a time to come into the hotel, schedule a time to come into the restaurant, etc. So when we go in here, this availability is cultivated based upon the hiring manager's calendar. This can either be Outlook integration, this could be Google Calendar integration, or you can set availability within Phenom directly to say, I only want to interview Mondays and Thursdays from 1 to 3. And that's when I want my interviews to come in. I don't want to look at a calendar all day. I don't want to mess with a calendar. I just want to say those are my interview times and I'll just be ready to interview anyone that comes in during that time. So the candidate can come in, they can determine based upon their availability what is the best match for them. And we get a confirmation here. So now we've eliminated resume review. We've eliminated the need to schedule an interview, reach out to the candidate, provide availability, etc. We have streamlined this process and we are only a few minutes into the application. Now we know Sandy is a highly qualified lead. Sandy probably knows other highly qualified leads. So we go in here to start asking for information on referrals. So do you have a friend that you want to come work with you? Works better when your friends are there too. Is there a friend that you would like to invite? Yes. All we need is first name, last name, email address, and we can begin doing a drip campaign. At this point, you have the option, this is not required, but you could offer some sort of an incentive to the candidate to give referrals. So it could be points for the hotel. It could be a free appetizer with dinner. It could be anything of the sort. We have some that do a free cup of coffee, some do a free donut. It really is up to you, your business, and what may work. Again, we know your candidates that are applying are likely already your customers. You want them to stay your customers and you want them to continue coming back to your establishment. So we're using this as a marketing tool as well to drive traffic into the hotel, into the store. Here you can see we're offering referral bonus. Maybe they go into a pool for a drawing for a referral, etc. It's totally up to you what works for your brand. So as we've gone through this, you may be saying, this is great, but this is probably really complicated to set up. We don't have the IT resources to be able to manage this. So I wanted to take you over to the automation engine and give you a little sneak peek of what this could look like. So this is the automation engine today. You can see there are job search and job application workflows. There's quite a few in here. You don't really have limits on how many you can have. To create a brand new workflow, you can come in here. You can either start from blank or you can start from a template. We are working right now on providing different templates for hospitality, for restaurants, for hotels, just with some examples of different questions that are common in the industry, things that may be interesting to have ready, available, or different setups that may be just ideal for these situations, or things that we've seen work for other clients. You can see here, I selected career site and I have templates here. So I can select web and create a workflow. It went ahead and created the workflow for me based upon the template. I didn't really have to do anything to set this up. So I can come in here. I want it to be English and external. You can add additional here. So let's say I want to do category and I want to do let's do sales for this position. Then I go through, I want to validate my candidate details. I can switch here. We have the option to do individual consent, SMS and email. You can do joint consent. Again, whatever works for you all. It did go ahead and populate some questions for me, but let's say for my restaurant, I need you to be 21. We serve alcohol. I need someone to be able to go back and forth, partner with the bartender to be able to serve customers and clients. You can go in here, update that, click save, and you are on your way. You can see it saved successfully. When I'm ready, I can come up here and set live and be able to change. You can also look at your conditions, what is required for a qualified or a knockout path. You can update these. You can add a condition, all with just a few clicks. So it's very easy to manage. It doesn't require really any IT resources once it's set up. It can be managed by a recruitment leader, an HR leader. It's very flexible for the teams to be able to set up. So now that you've seen HVH, how you can see value for hotels and restaurants, and we've seen kind of the back-end automation engine, we're going to pass it over to the rest of the team to show you what happens after the candidate is hired.
Hi, everyone. My name is Shishir. I'm the Executive Director of AI Products within Phenom, and I'm excited to talk about how AI can really accelerate your sourcing and screening journeys within the hospitality business. So let's get to it. What we've seen speaking with our customers, that recruiters are currently overwhelmed by the inefficient ways of searching for candidates, which requires extensive knowledge of filters, advanced filters, and so on and so forth, along with conducting manual outreach, actually cold calling these candidates and validating some of the screening requirements for that particular job, which takes the entire long process. So the need of the hour is a solution that automates these processes while providing deeper matches for those candidates. Currently within Phenom, we have a number of products that enable the recruiters to do this, but they're spread across AI discovery, intelligent sourcing, which is essentially searching across an external database of candidates, candidate searches specifically that requires filtering, advanced filter knowledge. Once you've identified and sourced these candidates, how do you campaign and outreach to these customers, these candidates? So that's essentially a split across multiple portfolio of products. And what we've essentially done with our recent development is a singular platform that offers flexible and intuitive search, along with automating the pre-screening and the outreach process for the sources and the recruiters. So this is what we call X Plus Source. It's an end-to-end sourcing tool. And the main value proposition of X Plus Source is essentially across enhancing query matching. So it's not just about querying on standard titles and skills and experience, but you could even ask things such as, what is the dollar impact? Show me only candidates that have a dollar impact over a certain amount, or whether this person is a managerial or an individual contributor. And it goes beyond just simple filter search, where it's guiding the users in a conversational manner to reach and filter out and shortlist the right set of candidates. Along with that, it provides external searching of profiles. So that's across the 800 plus million profiles that we have on our platform. And it automates the outreach and the screening for the source of the recruiters. So let's take a look at how we can do this. This is an example customer where we enable X plus source. They're looking for, let's say, front office jobs to fill a front office manager role. So essentially you just type in free text, and the AI already understands what is that entity that you're looking for, and it shows you the right profiles. Now, AI has also generated these summaries so that you don't have to look into each and every single candidate. And if you want to, you can look at the detailed description and select the right candidates that you're interested in and create a shortlist. But before that, let's see how it can enable additional navigational suggestions. So AI has already generated these suggestions for you based on the results that are being generated. And the customer can, the recruiter can type in absolutely anything here, saying only show those with 2+ years of experience. And the filter already understands what you mean by years of experience, and it already shows you those profiles. You could even go further and say only in Maryland, for example, and it will further filter out those candidates that fit that profile. Now, essentially, once you've shortlisted those candidates, you can add them to the shortlist here and essentially take that to your jobs or list of projects or campaigns. And this essentially automates the entire outreach flow for those candidates. It will even set up loops in terms of asking the candidates for some valid screening questions. And only when they've received those answers, it will take that and then feed that back into the system. So it's a completely end-to-end automated process for sourcing. And you could even type in, show me candidates that are similar to a particular ideal candidate. You could ask questions about, show me only candidates that belong to this particular job title or that fit with a particular job description. You could completely put the entire Boolean paragraph in there and let the AI understand those entities and then extract the right candidates for you. So that's an extremely flexible way of interacting and navigating with the sourcing tool, and then also automating the outreach and the screening through the same platform. And we'd love to talk to you about personalized fit score. It's the most recent product in the family of X Plus Fit Score that we recently announced at IM Phenom. So let's take a step back and talk about what is a fit score. Well, essentially, what we've been doing in the past is taking into account candidates' attributes such as location, skills, and titles, and matching that against what is required by the job itself, and providing scores such as A, B, C, and no fit. Although this has seen great adoption amongst the customers have come back to us seeking additional flexibility in how they configure these fit scores. Specifically, what they're looking for is taking into account the minimum qualifications or the job-specific questions that are required for that particular job to be taken into account while calculating a fit score. Similarly, for internal mobility, there are specific changes or requirements, such as not considering a title for the candidates that are seeking additional opportunities in a different role, or HR-specific policies while considering candidate at a certain level, and also making sure that they're not reaching out to those candidates or calculating fit scores for the candidates that have not given a consent to do so. So for this, we've been working something what we call as personalized fit score, and I'm happy to announce this is in private beta this year. What it generally allows a customer to do is to create their own criteria for calculating a fit score. And this own criteria could be a hybrid of AI scored parameters, such as titles and skills that are scored by AI and given a threshold, essentially, or a non-AI scored parameter like availability or shift preference or licenses that can be combined now to form a single fit score. So let's dive into the user experience here. So typically within the CRM settings, when a TA manager or admin would go in, they can now see a tab for AI calibration. And within that AI calibration, they would have the flexibility to create a fit score framework or a template for a specific set of jobs that have a specific set of criteria that they want to apply for. So for example, for supply chain, They could consider parameters like skills and titles, but they could switch that off for customer-facing templates and just consider availability or shift preference as a parameter while calculating fit score. So these are all the ways in which customers, or all the data that customers can bring in to essentially influence the end fit score that gets assigned to a candidate. So this could be minimum qualifications, as we talked about, job-specific questions, levels within a company, performance management results that you can bring in from another tool to also create these frameworks for a specific set of jobs. So as a TA admin or a TA manager goes in, they can actually create a template or a fit score framework for a specific category of jobs. They can club together job IDs or by location, and they can select the parameters that are now applicable for that particular job. So let's say for this set of jobs, job location radius and skills and availability is important. Availability is essentially coming in from your apply flow. So for a front office job within hospitality, you could say that only if you meet a certain criteria for availability, you are an A fit. Otherwise, you're a B, C, and no fit. And similarly, for other set of jobs, you could switch off skills or job location radius and only keep years of experience or shift preference as the criteria that you want to apply for calculating the end fit score. And when essentially the recruiter goes in and looks at the jobs and looks at the matching criteria, they know what fit score template has been applied to that particular job. They can see those parameters like location and years of experience and availability. They cannot change these parameters, but they can change the values within these parameters that are essential for calculating each and every fit score. So it gives you a greater amount of flexibility in how you control the end result. And there are various benefits to it. One is improved screening productivity in terms of the lower number of applicants that you now can have to screen for to be able to fill the job. The other one is increased quality of the hiring pipeline by eliminating contention between recruiters targeting the same leads. So if candidate is already being considered for another job, they won't be recommended to this other recruiter. And the third is maintaining compliance with the customer consent. So not even calculating fit scores for the customers that have not given consent, or not even showing them as recommendations if they have not given the consent. So these are some of the benefits that we believe customers will achieve. And there are tons of things that are coming up as well in the roadmap, where we enable additional candidate attributes such as awards won, licenses, that all candidates mentioned within their resume, you could bring those in to calculate the fit score itself. Levels within a company, candidate engagement as an example, such as how engaged was this candidate with your career website. Those could be taken as a parameter as well to be able to calculate that fit score. And any hiring feedback from past applications, whether it's positive or negative, how do you bring that in also to influence the recommendation that you create? So if there is interest, please reach out to me, and we'd be happy to invite you for the private beta, and would love to see how this improves the performance of your screening process. Thank you so much for listening.
To conclude today's session, let's focus on what comes next. You've efficiently hired highly qualified talent, whether you're a recruiter, a hiring manager, a GM, or just an extension of the talent acquisition team. Now let's flip the switch and take a look at the employee experience. Based on discussion that Phenoms have had with current customers and industry insights, we understand the critical aspects of retention and employee development, especially in a high turnover industry like hospitality. Employees are leaving hotel and restaurant jobs en masse due to lack of visibility to career opportunities, and they're typically headed right across the street to your competition. It's a complex problem, especially trying to personalize for different people at different locations all across the globe. The other struggle is how to upskill efficiently when you have such a widespread enterprise. This is not only important just for career growth, but also to support corporate agility by training on the most important business initiatives quickly. The results? Profitability takes a hit, you suffer higher attrition, and your brand reputation declines. But fortunately, there's a solution to these problems for hotels, restaurants, and the rest of the hospitality industry. Today, we'll outline some strategies to keep your employees engaged, facilitate necessary certifications, foster career growth, and even address transitions out of the organization. Imagine you're a new employee at Sunrise Hotels and you receive a notification that you can access your employee experience right from the palm of your hand through a text message to your cell phone. This happens even before your first day. Oftentimes, there are things that we need our employees to know before they start. So you can log in and start even training, whether that's completing certifications that are necessary for the role or company specific training. It's all conveniently accessible here, again, right from your cell phone. Not only can you view, track progress, and complete those required courses, but you can even start to familiarize yourself with your future colleagues, who's on the team, if you know someone from a previous job. This is the type of technology that enables your employees to show up on the first day knowledgeable and ready to work. 33% of employees quit in their first 90 days due to poor onboarding. So nailing this experience is a must. In addition to all of this required training, you can also schedule management meetings, explore required skills for your role, and even pursue relevant coursework independently. If your organization supports leadership development or educational opportunities, you can also hone in on those here, whether that's applying, starting the process, or just digging deeper into some of those skills to develop yourself for your role. After time leveraging these opportunities and gaining tenure at the organization, you can formalize your progress by selecting a career path. This is extremely important for your employees because clear career paths reduce turnover by demonstrating to your employees that their future with the hotel or restaurant is both valued and planned. This reduces the likelihood of them seeking opportunities elsewhere. Once you've chosen that role that you're looking to get promoted to, you can dive in deeper to the job description, the responsibilities, and even necessary skills for promotion. Access to career pathing information allows workers to identify the skills and qualifications needed for advancement. This empowers them to proactively develop these skills, enhancing their performance and readiness for future roles, and maintaining those future roles at your organization. Over time, the system will remind you of necessary certifications and updates, ensuring compliance and ongoing development, whether that's through in-person training or online coursework. What employees love about everything that we just walked through is how simple it is. Not only then can they complete and stay up to date on certifications, coursework, but they also can understand how to grow within the organization without needing to leave. Enhanced visibility into employee growth supports retention and employee satisfaction. But we know that not everyone will stay at the company forever. Employees moving on is really part of helping them grow. So we want to make sure that it's easy for you all to stay in contact. This is useful not just for full-time employees, but it also can be leveraged for your seasonal staff. So as part of the employee exit process, your team can start to use Phenom's alumni network to encourage employees leaving temporarily for seasonal work or permanently to join the community. It gives those employees the ability to do things like searching for new job opportunities, access to information on benefits after they've left the organization, the opportunity to continue to upskill, and even maintaining the opportunity for them to identify unemployment resources if that's necessary. They can create their own profile with resume and job preferences. They can sign up for job alerts, review applications in process, and even make referrals. This way, when you're ready to hire that employee again, they're highly engaged, whether it's that time of year or time of career. I really apologize, marketing made me say that. Your former employees will get an alert without your team needing to touch a button. MGM used Phenom for this to ramp back up following a lot of furloughing and layoffs during the COVID-19 pandemic. And they were able to use this technology to fill 428 brand new positions solely from their alumni network. In essence, visibility into career pathing, skills development, and the opportunity to boomerang empowers frontline workers, strengthens organizational loyalty, and contributes to a more skilled and motivated workforce, which ultimately benefits both the employee and the organization as a whole.
Well, that wraps up our hospitality segment of Phenom Industry Week. We've uncovered some brilliant strategies and heard inspiring success stories from the restaurant and hotel industry. Our team told you all about Phenom High Volume Hiring and the Hiring Manager app, Phenom Frontline Fit Score and X Plus Source, and Phenom Career Pathing, as well as Phenom Alumni Network. If you want a deeper dive on any of the products we mentioned today, schedule a conversation with our team on phenom.com, and they can personally walk you through any of your questions. Thank you so much to all of our incredible speakers and to all of you for tuning in. These sessions are available on demand 1 hour after we wrap up today, so you can rewatch and share them with your teams. Tomorrow, we'll shift gears to healthcare, an industry where having the right workforce is a matter of survival. See you at 10 a.m. Eastern